WrestleMania season is almost here, which is the greatest time of the year if you're a wrestling fan. But today we're going to be booking the entirety of WrestleMania Night 1 because I have absolutely nothing else to do. But here are all the matches that I booked. Also feel free to skip around the video using the video chapters and enjoy the video. So WrestleMania 39 is 5 months away and my dumbass is already trying to book the whole damn show. Yeah, that's right, I will be fantasy booking the entirety of WrestleMania 39. I'll try to keep it realistic, but I'll also try to put in my own twist on it too. But one announcement before we start booking these matches is that I will be splitting this entire series up into 18 episodes. So 16 of the episodes will be individual matches, and 2 of the 18 episodes will be all the matches combined into one big video. Let's start with the first match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos inside Hell in a Cell. So this is a match I've been waiting for it to happen. So if you don't know, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are best friends back then, and now they're not. This is kind of a complicated story, so I'll try to explain it at the best as I can, so bear with me. Back in Kevin Owens and Sami's Roll of Honor days, where they first met, they became tag team champions, and the first time they became friends. So yeah, this started their love-hate relationship, and they became friends, they became rivals, they became friends again so many times, especially in WWE. Let's go into the present. I'm recording this video on October, and this video is coming out in November. So if something crazy happens in early November, I won't be acknowledging it in this video because I don't know if that happened or not. So for the past few months, Sami Zayn has been riding with the Bloodline. Everywhere the Bloodline goes, Raw, Smackdown, press conference, Sami Zayn will be there. All this started after a Smackdown after WrestleMania 38 when Sami Zayn came into the Bloodline's locker room and proposed to help the Bloodline. This kept happening for weeks after week, and after getting Roman's respect, Sami began to wear a Bloodline shirt and be with Roman and the Usos and Paul Heyman and all that. After weeks of that happening, after an episode of Smackdown, things were about to go south for Sami. It looked like Roman was about to kick him out of the Bloodline. But no, that didn't happen. All Roman was trying to do was support Sami and give him a new shirt like the legend that he is. So, so this is when Sami got Roman's 100% respect. He started cutting promos with him. He started being the Usos manager, or he was always ringside for their matches. He's kind of like the Bloodline's yes man if you think about it. The past few weeks, Jey Uso and Sami Zayn haven't really been getting along. Some weeks they get along, but most weeks they just argue for no reason. But for Jimmy, I mean, look at Jimmy, bro. Look at Jimmy's cool. He's a good guy. Jimmy and Sami have a brotherly bond going on, and they like each other. It's amazing. So now that I've told you a little background info about Sami, now let me tell you a little bit about tag team partner at WrestleMania, Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens hasn't really been doing much on Raw lately. I mean, he has a match against Drew McIntyre and with Johnny Gargano and Alpha Academy and all that stuff, but he's nowhere to be seen lately, which I don't know if he's injured or he's just not getting booked. But yeah, that's all I have for Kevin Owens background information for a little bit. Yeah, so now let's actually talk about the WrestleMania match. So obviously the story behind this is that the Bloodline turns on Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn gets kicked out of the Bloodline, which he turns face. And he wants to get revenge and team up with his former rival and former tag team partner to take on the Usos inside Hell in a Cell. Now let's build this rivalry up from the ground. And, not from the ground, but let's just build it up. Let's make it start at the Royal Rumble. Both Usos and Sami Zayn are in the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn is obviously trying to eliminate everyone. Sami Zayn gets someone in, so he gets someone in the haluva kick position in the middle of the ropes. So but then the person gets away, and then he puts Jey Uso in the way. So then Sami Zayn accidentally haluva kicks Jey Uso instead of whoever that person was. So Jey Uso is mad, Jimmy is mad, Sami Zayn turns around, and then Jimmy Uso is just looking at him, and he's just lost. Sami says, hey, blah blah, it was a mistake, but no, not to Jimmy it was. It wasn't an accident to Jimmy, but Jimmy absolutely lost, and he beat down Sami Zayn to the max, and he eliminates Sami from the Rumble. Next week's SmackDown, the Bloodline kicks off the show. Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman. Usually Sami would be here, but he's not in this week's, but he's not with the Bloodline. The Usos tell Roman that Sami Zayn eliminated Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns trusted Sami. Even after they had multiple heart-to-heart conversations, and Roman even gave him a t-shirt. So now the Bloodline is against Sami now, and in the same promo, Sami Zayn's music hits. He walks down the entrance ramp and apologizes for his mistake make outside the ring. Roman Reigns says to Sami, why don't you come here in this ring to apologize, Mr. Honorary Uso? Sami Zayn comes up, falls into the bloodline trap. As soon as he's about to say sorry, the man gets beats up. Roman Reigns is destroying him, the Usos are kicking the living shit out of him, and Solo gets a steel chair. This beatdown goes on for a little bit, but oh god almighty, we hear Kevin Owens' theme. You know what's about to go down. Kevin Owens runs in the ring, he goes straight for the Usos, and now Sami has backup. Kevin Owens is here, he came to avenge best friend against the bloodline. But even when Kevin Owens came in to help, it's still a 4-on-2 assault. So now both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are on the ground in the ring. Bloodline are about to leave. After they leave, we see Sami and Kevin getting each other back up on their feet, and they go to the back together. So now we officially know that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are back in business as a tag team. Next week's SmackDown, both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out. They call up the Usos straight up, and they said, if you want to fight Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, get your bitch ass out of here. The Usos come out and say that you can't just challenge the undisputed tag team champions and expect a match. No. It doesn't work like that. If you want a match, you'll have to earn it. And then Adam Pearce comes out to announce the men's elimination chamber, and the men's elimination chamber will be a #1 contenders match for the tag team championship. And he says that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are gonna be in the match. So now Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn gotta get their brains together and work together in the elimination chamber. 2 weeks before the premium live event, there are brawls, backstage attacks. There's a whole lot of fighting going on with the Usos. Kevin and Sami absolutely hate each other. These two teams already have a bloody and personal feud. Week before elimination chamber, Kevin and Sami wanted to do a little bit of mischief before their big match. So they injured Solo Sikoa, beat him up, and they knew that only one member of the bloodline was in the SmackDown arena, which was Solo Sikoa. So Kevin Owens and Sami beat up the one and only Solo Sikoa, and that was brutal. Kevin Owens grabs Solo's face and he says, you tell your brother this elimination chamber we're gonna be the #1 contenders for their tag team championships. Anyways, it's finally time. It's the day of elimination chamber. It's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's 5 other tag teams. Before the match, on the pre-show, we learned that Paul Heyman spoke with upper management and he made sure that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were the first ones to start out the chamber, making it way harder for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. 5 other teams in the chamber were the New Day, Alpha Academy, the OC, Street Profits, and Maximum Male Model. I'm not gonna talk about the chamber match too much, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn end up winning the chamber match, outlasting all 5 of the other teams, and they point at the big WrestleMania sign, and they are going to WrestleMania. SmackDown, we see that the Usos are in the arena, they are in the ring. Kevin and Sami make it clear to them that they are the #1 contender. Before SmackDown, it was posted on Twitter and WWE.com, but we're gonna see a match, Kevin Owens and Jey Uso. We see this match in the main event, and Jey Uso picks up the win because Solo Sikoa distracts the ref. Put the Usos to a 1D Kevin Owens, all while Solo Sikoa is distracting the referee. Jimmy takes care of Sami, and when the ref comes back, get a big super kick from Jey, then Jey wins the match. After the match, we see it's all war. See tables, kendos, steel chairs, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are furious. They put the Usos on take steel chairs, they take tables, and they just cause hell. Next week on SmackDown, both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have a big announcement. What could it be? But both of them say that when they have their match at Mania, they don't want it to be distraction. And they said they want to beat the Usos up with the weapons. So both of them say that they want the Usos inside Hell in a Cell. That's how SmackDown goes off the air. So the next week we see the Usos again. They accept the challenge. They say that we've been inside the hellhole before and we came out victorious and we have no problem to do it all again. Since the Usos haven't defended their tag team titles for 3 months now, Adam Pearce came out and said that before WrestleMania they have a tag team match against Alpha Academy. So Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are on commentary for this match, and it would make sense for them to cause distractions. So for WrestleMania, they can win the tag team titles from Alpha Academy, but they don't want to do that because they are feuding with the Usos, not not Alpha Academy. The Usos retain their titles. We see a face-to-face between the Usos, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. But Kevin and Sami take it easy, and then they leave the ring before things get serious. On the next few Smackdowns, we see promos on Raw, Smackdown, everywhere, and everyone is just roasting the shit out of their opponents. A week before WrestleMania, they have a final face-off and a contract signing. During the contract signing, Sami Zayn says how much it means to him to beat the Usos because they betrayed him. Kevin Owens doesn't even care about the tag titles anymore. He just wants to end the Usos. End in quotes. Paul Heyman is with the Usos, and he says this line. It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. We know every time Paul says that, the person who he's advocating for always wins the match. You know, it's time for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to prove him wrong. It's time to unleash all the anger, all the frustration, all the pure rage inside that sacred structure. And it's WrestleMania Night 1, the first match. They cannot wait any more longer. All four of them come out, and it's full on carnage. All the frustration is being let out. Sami has been the bloodline for months, and he trusted them, but it's all gone wrong with one mistake. And Kevin Owens breaks the cell wall, takes the fight to the top of the cell. Telling the cell match is absolutely brutal. Kevin Owens is about to throw Jey Uso on the ground, which is a 20-foot drop, but Jey Uso holds on to the cell last second. Kevin Owens wants to hurt Jey. Hurt in quotation marks. He wanted to throw someone down the cell. What he did is that he power bombed Jey Uso on the top of the cell, and he breaks the top of the cell. Jey is falling down 20-foot structure, and this match actually goes on for 25 minutes. And you know the boys, underdogs, the babyface wins, undisputed tag team champion. It was almost a year in the making. Sami Zayn trying to get in the bloodline, Sami Zayn getting in the bloodline, to getting accepted, to getting kicked out. Randy Orton has been Riddle's mentor for some time now, and you know, in my opinion, Randy Orton has boosted Riddle's career so much. I mean, the man should be thankful for what Randy did. But currently, Randy Orton is injured, and he's rumored to return at the Royal Rumble, so in my universe, I'll have him return at the Royal Rumble. For the past few months, Riddle has been feuding with Seth Rollins, and that's pretty much it. So, you know, let's book him. Let's give Riddle a actual good rivalry, because he hasn't had one for a few months. It all starts at the Raw after the Royal Rumble. Riddle is sad because he didn't win the Rumble, but he's happy because his best friend Randy Orton returned in the Royal Rumble. So on Raw, Randy Orton cuts out Riddle and comes in mid-promo, and Randy Orton is 2009 Randy Orton. The man is clean shaved, man is the biggest menace, and Riddle has no idea on what he's dealing with. He is dealing with the Viper, the Legend Killer, every single nickname that he has that you can imagine. Riddle is gonna suffer. So now Randy Orton is a heel, he's the bad guy. Randy Orton comes out into the ring, doesn't say a word, he just RKOs Riddle, and then he leaves the ring. See, now that we know that Randy and Riddle aren't friends anymore, but we don't know why. So Randy stares into Riddle's soul. At the entrance ramp like some devious creature. And Riddle can't get up for such a long time because he's the one that RKOs people, but he didn't realize how deadly and scary the move really was. Next week, Riddle has a match with Elias, but out of nowhere, he gets RKO'd by Randy Orton. But we don't know why Randy's attacking him. So the next week, Riddle is cutting a promo, and he's in a neck cast because of all of the RKOs taken. Riddle tells Randy to come down to the ring and tell him why he keeps attacking him out of nowhere. He says that we're still friends. He goes on and on about how they became Raw Tag Team Champion and their achievements as a tag team. But just like the Undertaker spawning in out of nowhere, Randy Orton comes in the ring from behind, RKOs Riddle again while Riddle is in a neck cast. That is 3 RKOs that Randy Orton has done to his former best friend. The next week, we get a promo from Randy Orton. See him cutting a promo. He says that the reason why I attacked Riddle is because I'm selfish, I'm bad, and most importantly, I'm the Legend Killer, and now I kill legends before they become legends. Randy says how he regrets teaching everything that he taught to Riddle because Randy doesn't want Riddle to have a better career than. And while Randy is cutting a promo, midway through, we see Riddle watching the backstage, and he is mad now. I mean, and because his friend hates him now, which I would too if I was Riddle. Now Riddle goes to the ring and RKO's Randy Orton, so a little bit of payback for the past 3 weeks. Now this feud is heated now. Riddle got his piece, Randy got his piece. Next few weeks it's complete wars. They can't even be in the same ring together. But the Raw after Elimination Chamber, Riddle challenges Randy Orton to a match at WrestleMania. Everyone is shocked, and then Randy Orton comes out. There's a whole lot of security guards surrounding Randy, make sure he doesn't assault Riddle. And Randy Orton has a microphone in his hands, and he accepts the challenge. Former tag team champions are about to go to war at the grandest stage of all. Next week on Raw, we see a pre-recorded video from Randy Orton. He's in a forest and has all of Riddle's merch, shirts, pants, hats, hooters, flip-flops, and a whole bunch of other stuff. He burns all of it and laughs. Randy knows what he's doing. He wants to end Riddle's career, and one way he could do that before WrestleMania is to burn all of his merch, because that means a lot to Riddle. Riddle wasn't at that week's Raw, so he didn't see the video. The next week, Riddle storms into Randy's dressing room and destroys everything in sight. Just like Brock Lesnar did to Triple H's office a few years ago, it's the same thing that happened to Riddle and Randy Orton. Both of them are trying to one-up each other, but next week, things take a turn. Both Riddle and Randy are in the arena at the same time. They're on their way into the arena, and they see each other at the parking lot, and they just brawl it out. There's no one to stop them, no officials, there's no referees, but after a little bit of time, it took some referees and officials to stop this mess. Later that night, we see that Riddle is being interviewed by Caleb Brax. He asks Riddle, why does Randy hate you so much now? Now Riddle says that he doesn't know. Riddle says to Caleb that Randy doesn't want Riddle to have a better career than him, which Riddle thinks to himself. He looks straight into the camera and says that you're not my best bro anymore. And Riddle has never said something like this, so it really means something. And then Randy comes out to the interview room and RKO's Riddle once again. So Riddle is down in the interview room, Randy Orton is up, and while Riddle is down, Randy says, you were never my friend in the first place. So now it is time for WrestleMania. It's Riddle vs Randy Orton. Both of them are ready for a fight. This match mostly consists of mind games from Randy Orton and Riddle. Randy Orton does Bro Derek. We see Randy Orton's signatures, DDT from Riddle. Every move in both of these men's arsenal were torn out except one move. It was one move at this point that hasn't been done throughout the entire match, and that was the RKO. At this point, no one threw out an RKO. Riddle goes for an RKO, but Randy reverses that RKO. Randy also goes for an RKO, but Riddle also reverses that. They beat each other up for a few minutes, and Randy Orton has something sinister in mind. He has something evil. He takes Riddle to the top turnbuckle, and he does an avalanche RKO to Riddle. Riddle is out, man can't move. Randy Orton goes for the pinfall. The crowd can't believe it. 1, 2. Randy Orton has beaten Riddle. Riddle is emotional, doesn't know what to do. His whole friendship with Randy Orton went downhill, and now he has lost to him. Kind of a sad story to see, but now Randy Orton is a bad guy. He's the heel. He won the storyline. This isn't the best one compared to my first one, but I didn't want to overbook things, because I feel like in the Kevin Owens and Sami and the Usos ones, I kind of overbooked things. It was kind of a long video, but I don't want to do this in this video. So basically, if you guys enjoyed episode 2, episode 3 will be Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Lita and Trish Stratus. So if you guys want to see that episode, please leave a like down below, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in episode 3. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out the previous one and my next one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. So Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of WWE a few months ago. But in my universe, they return some point after the Royal Rumble, and they go right after the women's titles. They win the women's tag titles, and they become new tag team champions. By the way, I forgot to mention, Sasha Banks and Naomi's returned as heels, and they're heels in the storyline. Now that they are champs, on Monday Night Raw, they say that they never lost titles in the first place. They walked out of WWE so others could walk in, and then at the perfect time, they came back, take away other people's glory, other people's success. But they say that they're back, and I know all of you missed us, but they didn't miss us. They go on and on disrespecting the fans, but they say next week they want an open challenge. So next week on Raw, we will see who accepts the challenge, and whoever accepts the challenge, they get a match at WrestleMania. So there's a lot of hype going around, and who's gonna accept the challenge. It could be Alexa Bliss, it could be Asuka, it could be Damage Control, or it could be a debuting Toxic Attraction. But next week we see Trish Stratus and and Lita. Both of them come out and say that they're the ones to accept the challenge. Currently, Sasha Banks and Naomi aren't in the arena. Trish Stratus says that once she returned to WWE in a one-time appearance a few months ago, she said that she had one more match left in her. Lita says the same. Both of them are in really good shape, and they say that they have one more run. They never held the tag team gold together because they didn't have the opportunity back then, but now they're grateful because they have the opportunity now. They say that at WrestleMania, Trish and Lita will become the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So next week we see a face-to-face with all the competitors. We see a promo battle. Sasha and Naomi call Trish and Lita old, washed-up pieces of shit. All Sasha and Naomi keep doing is keep talking that shit about Lita, and Lita gets annoyed. Lita says, why don't we have a match right here, right now? Lita versus Naomi says, why don't we have a match? Lita versus Naomi before WrestleMania. Naomi didn't want to look like a pussy, so she accepted. Later that night, we're gonna see a match between Naomi versus Lita. It's a big match. It's always nice to see Lita come back in the ring. Throughout the entire match, it's a distraction after distraction. The match ends with Lita winning, and Naomi and Sasha Banks beat Lita up. Trish Stratus wasn't at ringside during this match, but next week we're gonna see Trish Stratus versus Naomi. This time, Sasha Banks isn't at ringside with Naomi, and Lita and Trish are together. Trish wins the match clean, and Naomi tries to beat Trish up after the match, but Trish and Lita attack Naomi. So Naomi has taken 2 losses from both Lita and Trish. The next week, Sasha, Naomi, Trish, and Lita are at the same arena at the same time, which is never a good thing. Sasha says that she and Naomi can't go to WrestleMania after losing 2 straight weeks in a row. So what Sasha says is that she wants a one-on-one match, Lita or Trish versus Sasha Banks. The person who accepts the challenge is Lita. The crowd goes, wow, this alone could be a pay-per-view match, but we're gonna get to see it on Raw. Match exceeds expectation. This time, no one really interferes in the match. There's no distractions. Sasha Banks wins the match and proves that she's the better wrestler. Sasha's ego is now heavily boosted. It's all up through the roof, and now she knows, and now she goes around bragging that she beat up one of the pioneers of women's wrestling. The Raw before WrestleMania is brutal. Every person who's in a rivalry is brawling as the show starts. See a whole bunch of superstars brawling, chopping, running, assaulting their opponents, including Sasha Banks, Naomi, Trish Stratus, and Lita. All 4 of them ended up by the entrance ramp. Triple H comes out to order everyone who is causing a ruckus, or he's gonna cancel all the WrestleMania matches. Because the show didn't officially start yet, everyone stops and goes backstage, but the show didn't officially start yet. So now after their brawl at the beginning of the show, we just have to wait till WrestleMania. No more Monday Night Raw, no more Smackdown, no more Sasha and Naomi and stuff like that. It's time to wait until WrestleMania, and hey, it's WrestleMania Night 1, Match 3, Trish Stratus, Lita versus Naomi and Sasha Banks. Both Sasha and Naomi come out as tag team champions. Trish and Lita also come out to a huge crowd reaction from the 80,000 fans inside SoFi Stadium. The atmosphere is wild. People have been waiting to see the 2 Hall of Famers to win championship gold. Now it's time for all the hell to break loose. The match begins, and we get a stare down between Sasha and Trish. They surprisingly started the match. The match consists of mainly bank statements and top rope moves. You get frequent tags, and both of them work together as a team. They dismantle their opponents. After a gruesome match, the WWE Tag Team Champion Sasha Banks and Naomi retain their titles. Both of them leave the ring, and Lita and Trish Stratus to celebrate their return because this is probably their last match in WWE. So even though Trish and Lita didn't win the championship gold, they still had a good match. They still went to WrestleMania. They still got cheered, and everything worked out great. Sasha and Naomi are still the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and this is how I would book them. It was pretty fast how I did it. I don't want to waste your time. I'll see you guys in episode 4. Kurt Angle has been retired since 2019, but ever since then, he regret having his retirement match with Baron Corbin in 2019. He wanted to have a match with John Cena, but WWE said that they can't get John Cena in 2019. It was rumored that he's gonna have one last match at this year's WrestleMania, and Chad Gable would be a perfect guy for his final match. It would kind of be a passing of the torch match, so it would make Chad Gable a huge star, and it could very well match for Kurt Angle. But yeah, let's book all of this. So yeah, it's gonna start the Raw after the Royal Rumble. Kurt Angle is gonna make a surprise appearance and announce that he's coming out of retirement on Monday Night Raw. Says that he's really eager to get back in the ring again, but before Kurt Angle could say anything, Baron Corbin comes out and says that you shouldn't be here. I retired your ass. And then Chad Gable also comes out and shushes everyone. He says that if there's a man in this company that should have of his last match was Kurt Angle. It should be Chad Gable. So later that night, we see Baron Corbin versus Chad Gable. The winner of that match, that's a WrestleMania retirement match against Kurt Angle. Chad Gable picks up the win from Baron Corbin. The next week, Alpha Academy comes out and talks shit about Kurt Angle. He says that he's coming out of retirement just to have a high-profile match with someone like Chad Gable is despicable. He says that Kurt Angle is irrelevant and no one cares about him anymore. So Chad Gable thinks that the only reason why Kurt Angle came out of retirement is because to have a good match with the Olympic gold medalist Chad Gable. Chad Gable's ego has been through the roof and he's been talking crap and he's been making Otis fight his battles for him. The next week we got a pre-recorded video from Kurt Angle in the gym. He says that he's getting ready for his match. He's gonna humble Chad Gable, gonna make sure that he retires with a win. Kurt Angle says that he's gonna be in the Raw Arena in 2 weeks, so this gives time for Chad Gable to plan some devious activities. So what Chad Gable does is that he kidnaps Kurt Angle's daughter, and then after the 2 weeks, Kurt Angle is on Raw. He's ready to go face to face with Chad Gable, but Chad Gable's nowhere to be seen. We see a pre-recorded video on the big screen, and it's Chad Gable and Otis, and then Kurt Angle's daughter tied on a chair. Kurt Angle is furious. The first thing he did, he didn't even say a word, didn't even react. He went right to the backstage area to find wherever the hell Chad Gable is. He screams to Chad Gable to tell him where the fuck he is, but Chad Gable doesn't tell Kurt. I mean, obviously. Eventually, Kurt Angle found Chad Gable backstage and beat the living shit out of him. We saw a side of Kurt Angle that we never saw before. Tables were broken. The man put Chad Gable in an ankle rock and everything. Kurt Angle gets his daughter and leaves Monday Night Raw. Both Chad Gable and Otis are laying on the floor. We don't see any of them for a few weeks. They're written off of TV because they got injured because of Kurt Angle. So now the Alpha Academy are back after a few weeks. Chad Gable and Otis have a match against the Usos because the Usos haven't defended their tag team titles in a long time. Adam Pearce luckily chose Alpha Academy to give them a free tag team championship opportunity. The Alpha Academy failed to become tag team champions and go home empty-handed. It's 2 weeks before WrestleMania and Kurt Angle hasn't been on Raw for a few weeks now. Chad Gable calls him out, and surprisingly, Kurt Angle was in the Raw arena and he comes out. He says that Chad Gable is a failure, and Chad Gable says that Kurt Angle is a Chad Gable wannabe. He says that you're not this generation's Kurt Angle. Matter of fact, you're nothing like me. Chad Gable doesn't have anything to say, but Otis does. So now Chad Gable stopped talking because Otis interrupted Chad Gable and said Otis wants a match with Kurt Angle. Now Kurt Angle is not ready to compete. You know, he's gonna be only working a WrestleMania match. So Kurt Angle turns down the challenge. This makes Kurt Angle look like a coward, but it's kind of a good decision because what if Otis injures Kurt Angle ahead of the match? That's not good. You know, so Kurt Angle made the right decision, and the last week before WrestleMania, it's war. Every single person has a WrestleMania match on Raw, are brawling their asses off around the arena, but that's the last time they meet before WrestleMania. But, you know, yeah, it's finally time for them to have the big match. Both men came out to the stage and they went at it. It's ankle lock after ankle lock after ankle lock. Both these men are trying to submit their opponents. There's major trash talk by Chad Gable. He wants to put Chad Gable in his place, aka the retirement home. Chad Gable gets an ankle lock on Kurt Angle, but Kurt is fading. He realizes that he can trick Chad Gable. What Chad Gable does is that he does a double tap to make Kurt Angle think that he tapped out, but then in reality, he didn't tap out. So Chad Gable sees a double tap, but the ref doesn't end the match because that was perfectly legal. Now Kurt Angle gets an ankle lock. Chad Gable does a double tap. Now Kurt Angle doesn't fall for that trick again, and Chad Gable taps out. Kurt Angle wins his WrestleMania match. He wins his retirement match, and his final match against an Olympic gold medalist, he wins. Torch has been officially passed. The rivalry has been settled. Both men shake their hands as a sign of respect, and Chad Gable is actually being cheered now in his babyface. Kurt Angle celebrates his major win with the Alpha Academy. That is how it ends. So basically what happens is that Chad Gable and Alpha Academy feud, and then, you know, the torch is passed. Alpha Academy become babyface because I feel like they do need a change now, and then them becoming babyfaces would do good because they have talent, and you know, it's really nice. I really wish this would happen at WrestleMania. I hope it does. Chad Gable vs Kurt Angle as a retirement match. I hope it happens, but I will see you guys in the next episode. The next episode will be Pat McAfee versus Wade Barrett. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Yeah. So currently on Smackdown, Wade Barrett and Michael Cole have been running the commentary team while Pat McAfee is doing his college football stuff. But let's start this rivalry at the Royal Rumble. Pat McAfee returns at the Royal Royal Rumble to WWE. He is in the Rumble. Michael Cole can't believe it, but he doesn't win the Royal Rumble, obviously. For the next week's SmackDown, we see Pat McAfee kick off the show after Raw after the Royal Rumble. Gets a big positive reaction from the crowd, and he goes right for the commentary desk where he belongs. Michael Cole is happy. His former colleague is back to sit right beside him. He wants Pat McAfee to sit down and join him on the commentary desk, but Wade Barrett doesn't let him. Wade says this is my job now, but Pat McAfee joins him anyways. He pulls up a steel chair and joins right next to Michael Cole. For the next few weeks on SmackDown, it's a three-man commentary desk, and Wade Barrett and Pat McAfee are always arguing, disagreeing on every single thing, while Michael Cole is just in the middle of all of this extravagance. On an episode of SmackDown, while Michael Cole is telling WWE Universe about the Elimination Chamber premium live event, Wade Barrett and Pat McAfee can't stop arguing. Wade says go back to football, Pat says go back to NXT, and they go back and forth while Michael Cole can't stand this, so what he says is that one of you have to go. This commentary desk is only made for two men. So Pat is like, yeah, Wade has to go, right? But Wade doesn't want to leave, neither does Pat. No one does, and both Pat McAfee and Wade Barrett get up out of their desk. They have a face-to-face, and this is where things escalate quick. Both men throw hands, and then Triple H comes out to the ring, or actually by the commentary desk, for a stop talk. He said that there's only going to be two commentators on each brand, so Triple H makes a match. He says that at WrestleMania, it's going to be Pat McAfee versus Wade Barrett. Loser leaves Smackdown. Wade Barrett has to come out of retirement. He's forced to get out of retirement, and Wade Barrett hasn't had a match in WWE in years. Pat McAfee is down. He had 2 matches in the past year, so Pat McAfee has more in-ring experience than Wade as of lately, I guess. But it doesn't matter because at WrestleMania, these two are going to go head-to-head, one-on-one. The week spilling up to WrestleMania, both Wade and McAfee takes turn in the SmackDown commentary desk with Michael Cole. They keep alternating every single week because they can't stand each other, and they can't completely focus with their commentary because of each other. On an episode of SmackDown, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole are on the commentary desk. This week, it's Pat McAfee's turn, so Wade Barrett should not be anywhere near the commentary desk. But from the crowd, he comes. Wade Barrett jumps over the barricade and beats Pat McAfee down. Pat McAfee didn't expect that, but Wade Barrett beats Pat up so much, and he stuffed him underneath the ring. Then he got to the commentary desk right next to Michael Cole, and he starts doing Pat McAfee's job. A few minutes later, Pat McAfee has recovered from the brutal attack, and while he was down under the ring, found a sledgehammer. Pat McAfee's face does it all. He wants to attack Wade Barrett, but before Pat McAfee could get his sledgehammer on Wade Barrett just ran away. He went off to the crowd. He jumped over the barricade, and he just ran. He goes all the way up to the arena, and we don't see him for the rest of the SmackDown episode. A week later, it's Wade Barrett's turn in commentary, so the legal men who should be sitting at the desk should be Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. Now, Wade Barrett says to the WWE Universe that he is ready. He has sledgehammers and steel chairs right next to him if something bad happened. All night, Wade Barrett is worried that Pat McAfee will probably attack him for revenge, but Pat McAfee didn't show up. Pat McAfee didn't attack Wade. Nothing happened. A week before their match, we get a big face-to-face. Both Pat McAfee and Wade Barrett are in the ring exchanging heat. Pat says that Wade Barrett is the biggest puss of all time. Wade says that at least I didn't leave WWE to go do some football thing and leave the company. Pat says I made more money doing that in a few months than you could ever do in a year. I simply do what's best for business. Pat doesn't want to talk anymore. Says why wait WrestleMania, we're in a ring, there's a ref outside, and we're both right here. Wade Barrett steps off to the ring and goes backstage. Doesn't want to wrestle on SmackDown. Both men can't stand each other, but it is time once again for WrestleMania. This will be the 5th match of night 1. Wade Barrett comes out. Wade Barrett normally comes out to his theme song, and Pat McAfee once again hires a symphony, or whatever the hell you call that, to sing Bum Ass Barrett, just like he did to Bum Ass Corbin. This makes sense. This made Wade Barrett pissed off even more, but no worries because both of these men unleash their anger finally. The match starts, and right away Wade Barrett hits Pat McAfee with a clothesline. Pat McAfee is down. Wade Barrett is telling the crowd, is this the guy you're cheering for, huh? Pat McAfee gets up while Wade Barrett was on the top turnbuckle taunting the crowd. Pat McAfee gets to the top too. He's about to hit his signature superplex, but Wade Barrett reverses it. Both men exchange blows after blows after blows. Eventually, Pat McAfee hits his big top rope rebound, clothesline, whatever the hell you call it, to wait out. It's pretty clear that Pat McAfee isn't gonna hold back anymore. Talks to the WWE Universe, do you want me to end? Asked Barret. The crowd erupts because McAfee's hella over with the crowd, if you can't tell already. Before McAfee could do anything, Wade Barret hits Pat McAfee with a body slam. The match goes on for another 10 minutes, and at this point, these guys have been severely punished. Pat McAfee has a little more fight into him. He takes Wade Barret onto the top rope. He does his superplex. He goes for the pin, and he gets the win. Wade Barret did not get up right after the match. Pat McAfee drags his body under the ring to get some payback. Pat McAfee goes to the commentary desk, and the duo of McAfee and Cole are officially and permanently back, and that is how. So I will say that this is a nice way to have Pat McAfee back to the commentary desk with Michael Cole, and this is loser leaves SmackDown. So where does Wade Barret go next? I think Wade Barret should definitely go back. He should definitely go to Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw really needs some good commentators. I mean, Corey Graves is average, and Kevin Patrick is just trash. He's just super bad, and I think Wade Barret should probably replace him, and Kevin Patrick should go back. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Next one is going to be a big one. It's gonna be a longer one. When I mean long, it's probably gonna be like 10-11 minutes. But it's gonna be Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, 2 out of 3 falls. It has a little twist to it, so that's gonna have to watch the video when it comes out. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa go way back. They featured many times in NXT, and they've won tag team gold too. At least I don't know if they won tag. They sort of have a love-hate relationship with each other, just like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. But we're gonna book these two at WrestleMania 39 in a 2 out of 3 falls match. But these men have been part of a 2 out of 3 falls match before, but it's not gonna be a normal 2 out of 3 falls match on their own. It's going to be an NXT style 2 out of 3 falls match. Each pinfall is a different stipulation, so we're gonna go basic with the first fall being a normal one-on-one match. The second fall is going to be a street fight, and the third fall is gonna be an asylum match. If you don't know what an asylum match is, it's basically a steel cage, the weapons hanging all over the cage. Now that we got that out of the way, I do know that Ciampa is injured, and he's probably gonna be out for a few months. Probably gonna miss WrestleMania. This means that he's probably not gonna be at WrestleMania, but I am going to be an idiot for the next 10 minutes. So yeah, let's continue the whole Johnny Gargano and the Miz storyline. So yeah, it's sometime after the Royal Rumble, a week or two later. At this point, Johnny Gargano beats the Miz at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and as well for Dexter Lumis. See, Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano have an alliance together, and they have a special hatred for the Miz together. After the Royal Rumble, Dexter Lumis calls out the Miz for a match. The Miz was already inside the ring, and Dexter Lumis makes his way to the ring doing his creepy entrance. And that is it. Yeah, I've been waiting so long to see this match for a long time. This is Dexter's first match back. During the match, Dexter Lumis gets the upper hand. He taunts the Miz with creepy gestures, and a mysterious man jumps up from the crowd. Toxic takes out Dexter Lumis and the Miz, and he lays waste in both of the two men. He reveals who he is in the ring, and we find out that it is Tommaso Ciampa. Johnny Gargano is at ringside for this match, and he says to Ciampa, "What the hell are you doing? This isn't your match." And Ciampa just stares into Johnny Gargano's soul. And apparently these two aren't friends anymore for some reason. They're back to being rivals. So on the Monday Night Raw goes off the air with Dexter Lumis and the Miz laying on the ground while Tommaso Ciampa is standing in the ring, all while Johnny Gargano is just standing at ringside. The following week we see Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis in the ring. So basically Johnny Gargano is kind of a mouthpiece for Dexter Lumis right now, since Dexter's gimmick doesn't allow him to talk. Johnny Gargano says to Ciampa that I know we've been best of the friends and bitter rivals many times, but I thought we all of our different sides. I mean, we even competed inside a War Games match. We've been in a multiple tag team matches, and we made so many memories together. Johnny talks about all of the achievements together that they've had, but Ciampa interrupts Gargano. He comes out down to the ring and he says, typical Johnny wrestling. He says that you could never ever trust a black heart. He says, I've turned my back on many times and you're still desperate friends with Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa goes on and says that the only reason why Johnny Gargano is well known is because of Tommaso Ciampa was giving him good wrestling match. Now Johnny Gargano does admit to all of that, you know, but he still doesn't have the answer on why Ciampa attacked Johnny Gargano's guy, aka Dexter Lumis. So now Dexter Lumis goes face to face with Tommaso Ciampa. They're not having a match or anything, at least not yet. And since Ciampa screwed Dexter Lumis out of his match, he wants to take Tommaso Ciampa on Raw, and that's exactly what we got Dexter Lumis versus Tommaso Ciampa on Raw with Johnny Gargano at ringside. So the match actually goes on for a bit. It shows off Dexter Lumis' moves and stuff, and Tommaso Ciampa also gets a good offense. Ciampa's first match back gets the win. He puts his foot on the ropes while the ref doesn't see it. Dexter Lumis is fuming, but Johnny Gargano says that he's not worth your time. So both Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis just basically go away. No, they just go back. But both Johnny Gargano go backstage while Ciampa keeps taunting most of them. So yeah. So for the next 2 weeks, we get a story time with Ciampa explaining why Johnny Gargano is a fraud for everything. But before he could even say anything or a single word, Johnny Gargano interrupts Ciampa and says that he's not a fraud. I've never claimed to be a fraud. The only fraud in this ring is Tommaso Ciampa. He says that I trusted you. He says that I really did. We all know what happened when you trust Tommaso Ciampa. You turned your back on me. You know what? And before Johnny Gargano could even finish his sentence, he decides to attack Ciampa, all for the misery he's done to him and Dexter. Johnny Gargano is laying waste to Tommaso Ciampa, all while Ciampa is just laughing. You know, even though Johnny Gargano is beating up Tommaso Ciampa, he's just laughing. He's just laughing. And that we find out in the next 2 weeks, Johnny Gargano will go one-on-one with Tommaso Ciampa in the main event of Monday Night Raw, and Dexter Lumis is at ringside, and these two go at it. It's a takeover classic. These men go at it for 20 whole minutes. It's a really good main event, at least as of right now. You see The Miz come under the ring. He returns after being away from a few weeks, and he distracts Johnny Gargano. He says that, yeah, we haven't seen The Miz for weeks, but Johnny Gargano gets distracted, but Johnny doesn't get distracted by The Miz. Miz calls to Ciampa and says, why'd you leave me, Ciampa? We can still be the greatest tag ever. Join me, Ciampa. We can be the greatest. But Ciampa doesn't care. He wants to go solo. He doesn't want The Miz tagging him and all that stuff. He ignores all the distractions, and Dexter Lumis takes The Miz and stuffs him under the ring where he came out of. The match continues between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, but it ends in a no contest. Both of these men are confused because this happened out of nowhere. They were mid-match, and then the bell just rang randomly rang. Without any submissions, pinfalls, or countouts, it turns out that The Miz paid the referee and the ring keeper to ring the bell in the middle of the match. So we knew that The Miz still wants revenge against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. It's made clear on Raw that we are going to see a triple threat match: Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and The Miz. And we see this match, and immediately Johnny Gargano goes for The Miz. While The Miz and Johnny Gargano are brawling in the ring, Ciampa just leaves the ring. He's standing at ringside by the commentary desk, and he's just watching Gargano and The Miz go at it. Gargano puts The Miz in the corner and tells Ciampa to get back in his ring. This is all while this is happening. We see a roll up by The Miz, Johnny Gargano, but Johnny Gargano kicks out. At this point, Tommaso Ciampa gets back in the ring and starts wrestling. At this point, The Miz recovers, and he's gonna be back into the triple threat. Johnny Gargano throws Tommaso Ciampa out of the ring and uses a DIY submission to submit Miz. Same finisher that Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano used as a tag team. The next week, we find out that The Miz is injured, and I wrote him out of the storyline. So now it's just Gargano and Ciampa that still needs to settle their one-on-one beef. It's the Raw after the Elimination Chamber, and Gargano has an announcement to make. What could it be? Tells that he wants Tommaso Ciampa in a one-on-one match. No bullshit, no distractions, and no one paying the referees or the ring keeper. He says that at WrestleMania, it's going to be Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, 2 out of 3 falls match, NXT style. Gargano explains to the fans that the first fall is going to be a normal match, the second fall street fight, and the third fall an asylum. This is the exact same match that happened at NXT TakeOver 2019 or NXT Toronto TakeOver. And Ciampa is no stranger to these types of crazy matches. It's made official. The next week we see a Beat the Clock challenge. Yes, a Beat the Clock challenge. I'm getting creative with online. It's Johnny Gargano versus Reggie and Tommaso Ciampa versus Akira Tozawa. Obviously, the aim of this is whoever the person has to beat other person in a faster time. Johnny Gargano gets the faster time, and he beats the clock faster than Tommaso Ciampa. The next week on Raw, we see an interview with Johnny Gargano. He's asked why. Johnny Gargano is asked, why are you and Tommaso Ciampa always fighting? Johnny says to the interview that Johnny and Tommaso Ciampa have a brotherly relationship. See, sometimes they fight, sometimes they're best of friends. Went through many phases throughout these years, and this is just one of them. At WrestleMania, I'm gonna put an end to all of this, and I'm gonna teach Tommaso Ciampa never to turn his back on the rebel art. It's 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and there's a face-to-face happening. There's a bunch of WB officials separating these two to make sure that none of them touch each other. These two don't say a single single word. The crowd is doing all the talking. They're nose to nose, eye to eye, face to face. This is the last time these two men are going to meet before WrestleMania, and they're mature in the face to face. Both of them are respectively leaving the ring in the separate ways, and it's time for WrestleMania. Sixth match on the card. The crowd is already crazy. It's been a crazy night with Hall of Famers and Hell in a Cell matches and big moments. Now it's time to get serious. These two men have been feuding for so many goddamn years, but they're finally gonna do it on the grandest stage of them all. These are the two men that made NXT TakeOver so goddamn special, and then with the bell ring and there's no one at ringside. Oh bullshit. It's fall one. It's a normal match. These two start slow and they slowly fasten up the pace. Do a bunch of taunting, but Johnny Gargano gets the first fall. It's one point for Johnny Gargano and 0 for Ciampa. Second fall is a street fight, and this is taken all the way up to the entrance ramp. Both of these men threw everything in sight at each other. They go back in the ring. Tommaso Ciampa gets under the ring. So does Johnny Gargano, and they both pull out sledgehammers. This is obviously a Triple H reference. The fans are chanting Triple H, and they get back into the ring and they just start hammering away with each other. They're kind of exchanging blows, but with hammers. And the match doesn't last too long for the second fall. It's around 9 to 10 minutes. So this time, the pinfall goes to Tommaso Ciampa, and he gets the pin. It's a one-on-one, and now anyone can win. But now, it's an asylum match. They're locked inside a steel cage, and they slowly falls to the ring, trap Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. Now, there's weapons on top of the match, but the only way to win this match is by pinfall or submission. And in an asylum match, you cannot escape the cage to win. A few minutes later, the asylum match got many DIY type submissions, each of them reminding their opponent of what they have been, each of them reminding their opponent of what they were before all of this mess. It's submission after submission after submission. These two won't tap out. They brought weapons into the ring from the top of the steel cage, and they went at it. Half wrestling, half brawls. These two men are feuding and they can't get their heads to work. Tommaso Ciampa has something devious in mind, and he does a superplex off. The cage is around 10 to 13 feet, so Tommaso Ciampa just suplexed Johnny Gargano from 10 to 15 feet. Tommaso Ciampa goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Tommaso Ciampa wins the final pinfall, and he wins the entire match. Everyone wanted the Gargano to pull this off, but it just didn't work. Tommaso Ciampa got his first win on the big stage in a brutal match. These two are bruised and battered, and after the match, they all go their separate ways. So this video was longer than the last. I wanted to put in a little extra details into this match because there's so much history between these two men. It's impossible to kind of just fit all this in 5 minutes. I'll see you guys in episode 7, which is going to be Bayley versus Bianca versus Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, fatal 4-way match, the Raw Women's Champion. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Probably the longest, WrestleMania fantasy booking video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I might change episode 7, but just subscribe, leave a like on this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. So Bianca Belair has always wanted to have a WrestleMania match against Charlotte Flair, and she does have the star power and the wrestling abilities to have a great match. So why not have Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39? Now, you read the title, but where does Rhea Ripley come into the match? Well, I thought that Rhea should win the Royal Rumble, challenge Bianca Belair for her title. So far, it's Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair confirmed, and also the Raw after the Royal Rumble is now happening. It's also the Raw after the Royal Rumble. Bianca Belair comes out to the ring and tells the WWE Universe that no one can take away my title. I've worked way too hard to keep this title around my waist, and there's not going to be a single soul named Rhea Ripley to take this title off. But as soon as Bianca Belair mentions Rhea Ripley, she interrupts Bianca. The entire Judgment Day interrupts Bianca, and you know, Rhea is right in the middle. Finn, Damian, and Dominic surround the ring, and Rhea Ripley slowly steps into the ring. Rhea and Bianca have a face-off. Now Rhea picks up the microphone, and while the rest of the Judgment Day is by her side. But now Bianca is alone. She has no help. She has no backup. And you know, Rhea says to Bianca, you know how long I haven't been pinned? Do you want to know what's my one-on-one win record for the past year? I'll answer all those questions. I haven't been pinned for months. I haven't lost a one-on-one match in months, almost even a year. Do you understand that? I didn't even lose the Royal Rumble. That's how good Rhea Ripley And we haven't crossed paths since War Games, but I guess. And then Rhea Ripley stops saying, she stops talking, she throws the first punch. Bianca and Rhea brawl it out. Rhea goes insane for that title. She takes the Raw Women's Championship and hits Bianca Belair in the face with the title. But Bianca Belair has very real life superhero powers, superhero babyface powers, and she gets back up, and then those two go to the back. They brawl backstage, and throughout the night we see a bunch of backstage segments of footage of Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley brawling. But the night isn't over yet. At this point, Charlotte Flair is not in WWE just right now. She hasn't returned. She's still off. We got an announcement that Charlotte is gonna make her grand return on Raw next week, and she has a special announcement. Now, what could that be? We're gonna find out. So the next week, Charlotte Flair returns, and then there's a table inside the ring. Now, it's basically a contract sign. Now, Charlotte says that, I'll cut to the chase. I know all of you want me to be Raw Women's Champion, and the crowd boos. They don't want Charlotte anywhere near the title. But Charlotte keeps going on and on about her precious Raw Women's Champion, and she says that there's going to be a new Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39, and she has the WrestleMania 39 contract, and the contract is already signed by Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair for the championship at Mania. Now, Charlotte Flair proceeds to sign the contract, squeezing in her name onto the paper, and no one is stopping her. Not a single soul, not a single commentator, not a single WWE official. And as Charlotte signed the contract, Rhea Ripley comes out to confront Charlotte, and she runs into the ring and tears up the contract. Charlotte just laughed, and now she takes, and I'm sorry, but I forgot to mention that how Charlotte Flair found the contract. She just found it, okay? She found it lying on the floor, and there we go, she just found it. But anyways, Charlotte just laughs and she talks into the microphone. She says that she printed another copy just in case someone ripped the first one up. Charlotte signs the second copy, and now Rhea and Charlotte start brawling just before things get out of hand, just like last week between Rhea and Bianca. The referees are ready to stop the brawl. They stop the brawl and escort both of them backstage. Now, this match is sort of made official. It's a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair was not on the show this week, but next week she's back on Raw, and she's furious. She says that she and Rhea signed a contract for a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, but now she found out that Charlotte Flair is out of nowhere gonna be in this match. She says that Charlotte does not deserve this. She says that, I've been the champ for almost a year now, and you've been gone for months. You haven't done anything to deserve a title shot. Because I don't care if there's 1 people or 2 people or 3 people or 4 people I have to beat. I'll make sure to pin both of you, because I am the EST and I am fighting champion. So basically at WrestleMania, it's now going to be Bianca vs Charlotte vs Rhea for the title. Now, next week on Raw, we're going to see Charlotte Flair come out to the ring, but next week, Charlotte Flair comes out on Raw and she says that, why should we wait until WrestleMania? But Bianca cuts Charlotte off and says that, I also can't wait until WrestleMania, and I'm feeling good today, so I have a little proposal for you. And she says, you and me at the Elimination Chamber. But then Charlotte says, it's for the title, right? It's for the championship, right? But Bianca says, hell no, it's not for the titles. And Charlotte asks, and then she asks Charlotte, what did you do to deserve a one-on-one title shot? Charlotte doesn't know what to say because she doesn't deserve one. But yeah, it's Bianca Belair vs Charlotte Flair at the Elimination Chamber. Non-title. Both women arrive at the Elimination Chamber, but before the match starts, Rhea and Dom come out to the ring to watch the match. But they don't really do anything as of right now. But the match is what you expect. It's good, it's very good pacing, it's a variety of different moves, near falls. But eventually, Rhea Ripley slides in a chair in the ring while Charlotte Flair is down. And Bianca and Rhea are both looking at each other. And then Charlotte Flair picks up the chair and is about to hit Bianca Belair with it, but Bianca Belair lies, cheats, and steals. A little homage to Eddie Guerrero, and the ref disqualifies Charlotte Flair. Now Bianca Belair wins the match. Now I know that this isn't like a babyface thing to do. Like, I want to make the storyline a little bit different, because like I don't want all of them. But yeah, while Bianca's celebrating, Rhea attacks Bianca Belair with a chair shot to the head, just like she did to Best Phoenix a while back. Yeah, both Charlotte and Bianca are laying in the ring while Rhea Ripley walks out standing. Now, the Raw after Elimination Chamber, we see Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair in separate backstage interviews, but we don't see any sign of Bianca Belair. We don't get an update, but we do get a pre-recorded video from Bianca Belair, which she's in a neck cast. She's selling her injury. She's selling her attack that Rhea did to her, and she says that she's not. And she says that she's gonna be out injured for a few weeks. Now, since Bianca's written off the storyline, Rhea explains why she attacked Bianca with a chair shot in the backstage interview. Rhea says that the only reason why she did that is because I didn't want Bianca Belair 100% at Mania. I want to target one part of her body and make it weak. So all I have to do now at WrestleMania is do a couple of neck breakers, and I'll become Raw Women's Champion. The interviewer asks Rhea Ripley Charlotte, but then Rhea Ripley says Charlotte shouldn't even be in this match, and inserting herself in the match is the biggest mistake that she's ever made. And Rhea Ripley says that I've got Bianca injured and Charlotte is the next one in line. So it's made official that Rhea Ripley vs Charlotte Flair is gonna happen in 3 weeks, not this week, but we'll see Rhea Ripley vs Charlotte Flair, obviously. The next 2 weeks, Rhea and Charlotte kind of just stay away from each other. For some reason, they don't touch a single time before their one-on-one match, but yeah, it's time for Rhea vs Charlotte in the main event of Monday Night Raw. It's a few weeks before WrestleMania and Bianca Belair is still injured. She hasn't returned, but the match undergoes and it's a major brawl. While Charlotte is trying to wrestle, Rhea Ripley is not letting her do that. Rhea takes Charlotte up to the top rope, but she reverses it. Charlotte gets some offense in for a little bit. She dominates for the most of the match, and then Rhea Ripley hits Charlotte Flair with 2 riptides and 1, 2, 3. No false finish, and Rhea Ripley wins the match clean. While Charlotte Flair is down, Rhea Ripley gets another chair and is about to hit Charlotte Flair on the neck just like she did to Bianca. Out of nowhere, Bianca's music starts to play. She returns and she goes right for Rhea Ripley. She doesn't have the neck cast anymore, and eventually Charlotte Flair gets back up and they take this brawl around to the crowd. This goes on for 5 minutes, but that's how Monday Night Raw goes off the air with all 3 of the women beating the living shit out of each other. Yeah, it's the week before WrestleMania, and we haven't heard much promos. In this rivalry, so we're gonna fix that. Each woman comes out separately and cuts a promo. First, Bianca Belair comes out and she says that the number of women I have to beat isn't the problem. The only problem that I have is people like Charlotte just handing themselves opportunities like this, and no one stopped her from signing the damn contract. But no, that doesn't matter because Charlotte Flair, you dug yourself into a hole that you're not gonna get out of, because I'm the toughest, the roughest, the strongest, the blah blah blah, Raw Women's Champion. Then later the same night, Charlotte Flair comes out and does the same. She says that she's just carrying the Flair legacy. Winning world titles is what the Flairs do in the household. If you're not a world champion, you're a nobody. Now, I don't care if I have to sign a contract illegally or bust my ass to get a Raw Women's Championship match, but I'll tell you this right now, I'm motherfucking Charlotte Flair you're dealing with. Not dealing with Becky Lynch or Rhea Ripley or any other person on the roster. Charlotte Flair is beyond levels upon levels than what you could ever become. Charlotte leaves, and lastly, Rhea Ripley comes out with the Judgment Day, and they hype Rhea up. See a big match for her, a big match for the Judgment Day, and a big match for Rhea Ripley, of course. She says to Bianca, keep that title nice and clean for me. Mommy's coming, and if mommy wants, mommy gets. Obviously, she's referring to the Raw Women's title. And she also goes in about Charlotte, mentioning their Money in the Bank match and SummerSlam match where Charlotte beat Rhea Ripley both times. Now, Rhea Ripley calls Charlotte Flair a washed up piece of shit, because simply Rhea Ripley is just a better wrestler right now, and I don't care if and she says that I don't care if you're a Flair, because in the Judgment Day everyone knows what we do to legends. I mean, ask Edge, ask Beth, or even ask Rey Mysterio. You don't want to be next Charlotte. And then she leaves the ring, and that's the build for the match. Nothing too crazy, I'm gonna be honest. I did rush the storyline, but hey, whatever. It's time for WrestleMania, and all the women come out and they're ready to put on banga after banga. And banga after banga it is. It's banga after banga. It is a triple threat match. It's basically a no DQ match. The weapons get involved, and Bianca and Charlotte start brawling while Rhea Ripley goes under the ring and grabs not 1, not 2, not 3, not even 4 or 5, So she grabs 6 chairs, she takes all those chairs into the ring, and she does the top rope move to Charlotte Flair, and she lands right on top of the chairs. I forgot to mention that that spot happens like 15 minutes into the match, so yeah, this match is kind of long. But now Charlotte Flair is out of the match. She's probably injured at this point because of all the chair shots. But as soon as Charlotte rolls out of the ring, Rhea Ripley gets back on her feet. Bianca Belair does a KOD on the steel chair, and Rhea Ripley, she goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out. They keep spamming finishers because why not? But eventually the person who walks out Raw Women's Champion is Rhea Ripley. Ripley becomes the new Raw Women's Champion, and I do think that Rhea Ripley should dethrone Bianca Belair, and Rhea can probably start her reign of terror with the Judgment Day. I would like to see this happen in real life, and I would like to see Rhea Ripley win the Royal Rumble to make this happen. I only have one more match for this. Now I do only have one more match on my WrestleMania fantasy booking, which is Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. So yeah, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes is the last match for night 1, and then we're gonna be moving on to night 2. That's right, I ain't done. My dumbass ain't done trying to book shit. But yeah, I'm still going. We still got 9 more matches after this video. I'll compile all of that into one video if you guys want to watch that. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, aka Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. Now it's finally time for the main event of WrestleMania 39 fantasy booking video, and the main event is Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship in a no-holds-barred match. Now this sounds weird because Roman Reigns is both of the world champions, but it's my channel, I can do whatever I want. So let's start with Smackdown before the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns comes out with only Paul Heyman, and he's about to say acknowledge me. But Adam Pearce comes out and he interrupts Roman, and he says that Roman hasn't defended his title in a long time. Me and the higher ups have decided to strip one of your titles, and the crowd goes wild. Roman is talking to Paul Heyman, and he says Paul can't do anything, but he says to Adam that this is my title, I deserve it. Everything about this title is mine. You can't take away anything from me. Adam Pearce tries his best to take off the title off Roman, but Roman has enough. He loses his sanity, and he won't give Adam Pearce his championship. But then Roman just unloads on Adam. He hits Adam Pearce with 2 Superman punches and a spear for good measure. He says to a down Adam Pearce, you can't take away anything from me, you understand. And then Triple H comes out, and he is not happy. Comes down to the ring like a final boss, and he forces Roman to give up one of his titles. And Roman Reigns actually gives Triple H one of his titles because Triple H said that he would fire him. So now Roman Reigns is only the Universal Champ. Now later that same Smackdown, it's announced that the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to get the WWE Championship. Now this makes the Royal Rumble even bigger and different. This year the winner of the Royal Rumble becomes WWE Champion and has to defend it at WrestleMania. So the weeks building up to the Rumble is a whole lot of superstars saying that they're gonna win the Rumble, they're gonna become the champion, and then one of them is Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is asked in a backstage interview if he's gonna be in the Rumble, and he says that damn right I'm gonna be in the Rumble. I'm gonna win the Royal Rumble again. I'm gonna become WWE Champion again, and I'm gonna main event WrestleMania again. And he walks off. It's now the Royal Rumble, and it's late into the match. Number 30 is about to enter. Number 30 arrives, and wrestling has more than one royal family. Cody Rhodes makes his grand return back to WWE from his injury, and he walks to the ring. While Cody's getting in the ring, Drew McIntyre wants him to come fast. Cody and Drew have a stare off while Cody is outside in the ring. Cody enters the ring, and the stare down begins. These two have deep history, and Cody Rhodes points to the WrestleMania sign, and Drew McIntyre unloads on Cody. Cody beats Drew, Drew beats Cody, a little back and forth action. Drew hits Cody with a Claymore, and he tries to send Cody out the ring, but that does not work. Cody and Drew spend some time taunting to the crowd, and these two don't like each other. One of them, if not both of them, are main eventing WrestleMania. Now I'll keep it simple. Cody Rhodes eliminates Drew McIntyre from the Rumble, and he wins the WWE Championship. His long-awaited dream has came true, and he celebrates in the ring, and Kayla Braxton comes in the ring to get some answers. She tells Cody, who do you want to face at WrestleMania for your newly won title? And he thinks about it, and he doesn't know. He looks at the locker room, or and while he's doing that, Drew McIntyre comes in from behind and attacks Cody Rhodes. He beats him up for a little bit, and Cody doesn't really get any offense. Drew McIntyre grabs the WWE title, and he says that this should have been mine in the first place, you little prick. You can't take away the glory from me. And he says that I'm him, I'm the guy, I'm the man you're facing for that title, whether you like it or not. Drew McIntyre has fully turned heel, and he throws the WWE title on Cody's chest. While he leaves the ring, Cody Rhodes slowly gets back up on his feet, and ladies and gentlemen, that is how I booked the Royal Rumble. But we're just getting started. The Raw after the Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes kicks it off, and he has the WWE Championship, and he's super emotional. Kinda like his return promo after WrestleMania 30. His first words are, "I did it for Dusty." He goes on and on about the history and lineage of the WWE Championship, puts over that title. Cody Rhodes proceeds to thank the fans for all of his glory and supporting him throughout his struggles, and he is glad that his American came true. But Cody talks to the fans, and he says that my father never got to win the WWE Championship or have a run with, but there's a son of a plumber who is WWE Champion right now in this ring, and he tells the fan that there is a clear box covered with a black piece of fabric covering, and Cody Rhodes takes it off. He reveals the WWE Winged Eagle Championship, gives the current title to the referees, and he picks up the Winged Eagle title. He shows it off to the fans, and they're going, wow, nostalgia's really being a bitch. And he tells the fan that in 1977 my father was supposed to win this title, but he got robbed. He got robbed out of his title, and I said in my return promo that I needed to do this. I needed to become WWE Champion, and you know, I finally did it. Since I was 8 years old, this was my only mission: capture a championship so prestigious, and what better way to start my title reign to bring back the most prestigious and the most greatest championship design of all time, the Winged Eagle belt. He raises that title high and proud, and the segment ends. Cody Rhodes has officially brought back the Winged Eagle Championship design, but later that same Monday Night Raw, it is announced that Cody Rhodes will have to defend his title inside the Elimination Chamber. They announced 4 competitors in the match, plus Cody Rhodes, so there's 1 spot left. Next week on Raw, we find out that Drew McIntyre has been traded to Monday Night Raw. He's now on the red brand, and he has something to say. He still hasn't told the fans why he attacked Cody Rhodes after the Royal Rumble. But anyways, Drew McIntyre says that the only reason why he attacked Cody Rhodes is because he's too stupid to realize. That he made his grand return to WWE just like Drew McIntyre did in 2017. And Drew says that we have similar careers, Cody. We've both been fired from this company because we weren't good enough, and we had to work in the underground to rebuild ourselves up ground up. And that's exactly what we both did when we won the Royal Rumble, became WWE Champion, and when I main evented WrestleMania, but you didn't. Now you have the same thing going on. Just because you won the Royal Rumble, just because you became champion, but what you don't realize is that that's all gonna disappear. That's all gonna dissolve away, and as soon as you lose that title, you're gonna be a nobody. No one will ever care about you and what you do. You're gonna go back to being a disappointment. I mean, look at me. I lost the WWE title for the second time. I was feuding for 2 clowns for 4 months. I'm warning you, Cody. This little fame you have going on right now is gonna end quicker and quicker and quicker, because at the Royal Rumble, I don't care if you heard, but I want a match with you at WrestleMania. But why wait until WrestleMania when I can put an end to you at the Elimination Chamber? Now, see, there's 1 spot left in the chamber, and I don't need to win a gauntlet match or a #1 contenders match. I'm Drew McIntyre. I got a 6-foot sword, and what I'm about to do right now is go to Adam Pearce and demand to be inside the chamber match. And that's exactly what Drew does. Later that night, we see a segment on the same Raw, and Drew McIntyre is at Adam Pearce's office with his sword, and he demands to be in the chamber match. Adam Pearce says no, but then Drew threatens him. Adam says no again, and he threatens him. Adam says, you know what, I'll negotiate. Win a #1 contender match, and I'll put you in the chamber. But then Drew threatens him. Adam Pearce says, okay, fine, you're in the match, and now Drew McIntyre is the member. The stage is set. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre versus 4 other dudes. at the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Winged Eagle Championship. The day of Elimination Chamber has arrived and Cody is gonna enter last, while Adam Pearce gave Drew McIntyre a spot in the chamber, but that was the #1 spot, so Drew McIntyre is going to have to start the chamber match, and yeah. Drew McIntyre slowly tears through everyone in the chamber, and Cody Rhodes is looking at him. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre stare off inside the pod. It's Cody's turn to come into the match, and he and Drew tear each other apart. They unload on each other and they make it personal. Cody is furious, and straight away he hit Drew McIntyre with a Cody cutter. He goes for the pin and kick out. These two men go at it for a solid 15 minutes, and no one will get pinned or submitted. Eventually, Cody Rhodes retained his title by using the pedigree, celebrates his first title defense, and that's how the Elimination Chamber goes off the air. The next week, Drew McIntyre is trashing the entire place. Same what Roman Reigns did back then. He destroys everything in sight backstage, and eventually the cops get involved. But before the cops could get the handcuffs on Drew McIntyre, he whipped out his trusty sword and he slices the cop car in half with his short sword. He scares off everyone and he goes out to the ring, but the staff won't let him. They suspend Drew McIntyre for a few weeks. The next week, Cody Rhodes is back and he talks about Drew McIntyre. He says that clearly at Elimination Chamber he was the better man, but tell you what, I technically need to defend this piece of gold against someone at WrestleMania. So, Drew McIntyre, no holds barred, WWE Championship match, why not? Drew McIntyre is supposed to be back before WrestleMania. Yeah, so the match is said Drew vs Cody at Mania, but the camera goes towards the top of the arena. We see Drew McIntyre up there in the crowd and he is smiling. He waves at Cody, but he gets chased out the building. The next week we don't see Drew or Cody on Raw, but the week after that, Cody Rhodes wants to wrestle. He says that I'm gonna be a good champion. So Cody Rhodes is going to host an open challenge. The person who accepts the challenge is Austin Theory as United States champion. He comes out and says that that title should have been mine months ago, but there was a certain someone who was taking them hostage. But now there's a new owner I see, and it would be nice if I can get a new nickname called Austin Two Belt. And then the match gets started. Cody Rhodes vs Theory. We've seen this match before, but now it's for the WWE title, and both men look strong. Now Austin Theory has a match on night 2, so stay tuned for that video. But anyways, Cody Rhodes retains his title in 10 minutes. But before Raw goes off the air, the commentators announce that Drew McIntyre is supposed to be on Raw next week and his suspension has been lifted. The next week arrives and Drew McIntyre is very nice, a little too nice. He comes out to the ring to cut a promo without trashing the entire backstage area. It says Cody Rhodes in a no holds barred match. What? You're trying to take a bloodbath with Drew McIntyre. No holds barred? No holds barred? I mean, when you made that challenge, you should have made it clear so I can't use my sword, but I guess you forgot to. Drew McIntyre looks at his sword and he says that there is nothing stopping me from using my 6-foot sword to slice you in half. And Cody Rhodes comes out with the microphone and he says, Drew, I'm not worried about the sword. I'm worried about you. Now, you mentioned that we have similar careers and we both got fired and we both had to build ourselves up from the ground up and then came back to WWE to become world champions. And I've learned that you're just jealous. I mean, everyone gets their time to shine. For me, it's Royal Rumble 2023. For you, it's WrestleMania 36. But I want you to understand, this title is staying around my waist, and no sword, no chair, no candlestick, or no other weapons you plan to use is gonna stop. At WrestleMania, I'm gonna humble you, and Cody Rhodes drops the microphone, and they start brawling. It leads up all the way to the backstage areas, and tables get involved, steel chairs get involved, and other weapons. But they brawl all the way outside too, and they go out of the arena, so there's kind of no one to stop them. It's 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and the main event, of course, is Drew vs Cody in a no-holds-barred match. And this week on Raw, we see Cody and Drew brawling again, because why not? That's literally it. That's all they do that week. And then next week, there's a promo battle, or face-to-face, whatever you want to call it. Both men are in the ring. Drew McIntyre starts it off and says that I'm getting Angela nice and shiny for WrestleMania. I'm going to use her and slice your ass in half. But Cody says that you're not going to use that weapon because it's an illegal weapon. He pulls out the contract out of his pocket and states that only weapons you're allowed to use in a no-holds-barred match are weapons under the ring. Now Cody tells Drew that he's always one step ahead, and Drew McIntyre just doesn't care because he tries to slice Cody Rhodes in half and he with his sword, but Cody gets away. He almost killed the guy. And Cody is glad that this will happen at WrestleMania. But next week, which is the Go Home Raw for WrestleMania, we see every single person that has a rivalry going into WrestleMania in the ring, backstage, in the car parking lot, and the camera cuts to all those shots, including Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre brawling in the ring. And it's been going on for a few minutes, and that's how the Raw before WrestleMania goes off the air. If you've been watching my WrestleMania fantasy booking series, you know that Raw always goes off the air with a big ass brawl happening. But anyways, WrestleMania 39 is here. It's the main event between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes for the Winged Eagle Championship. The match undergoes, and it's a brawl in the beginning. Absolutely unloading on each other. They've held themselves back for way too long, and they go straight to ringside. McIntyre gets a sledgehammer and he taunts to Cody. He hits Cody with a sledgehammer a few times, but Cody Rhodes eventually gets back up, and Cody Rhodes smashes Drew McIntyre with the sledgehammer, and they go at it back and forth with weapons like tables, candles, and a bunch of other stuff. It's 20 minutes into the match, and it's been personal every single second of it. Drew McIntyre hits a few claymores and a future shock DDT, and of course Cody Rhodes hits his Cody Cutters and other finishers, but just like Elimination Chamber, both men won't go down. Drew McIntyre has something sinister in mind, so while Cody Rhodes is down, he gets two tables and stacks them up on top of each other, and he gets a ladder, and he takes Cody Rhodes on top of the ladder, and he does a avalanche white noise. He goes through both of the tables and he goes for the pin. 1, 2, no. Cody Rhodes somehow kicked out of an avalanche white noise. At this point, all the claymores, chair shots, and sledgehammer shots that Cody Rhodes took taking a toll on him. Cody Rhodes is having a bloodbath. Classic AEW Cody Rhodes casually just having a whole head covered in blood. And both these men yell across the ring. They get up and they do the thing where they put their heads together and they start brawling once again. Cody Rhodes gets a steel chair and he gives Drew McIntyre a pedigree, but he knows that that isn't enough. He does it again on the chair, and 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes has successfully retained his Winged Eagle Championship in the main event of WrestleMania, and his title run is slowly becoming legendary. Cody Rhodes is bruised, battered, and covered in blood after the match. Drew McIntyre leaves the ring while Cody Rhodes celebrates his big WrestleMania moment. This was it. Cody Rhodes vs. Drew McIntyre, no holds barred, because why not? There was so many options I could have gone for, like Cody vs. Bray, or Cody vs. Roman, or even Cody vs. Seth, but Cody vs. Drew never fought in WWE. But what better place to do it than WrestleMania? Now, this concludes my WrestleMania fantasy booking series for night 1. I'm not done with night 2. I'm still gonna do night 2. It's gonna be bigger, it's gonna be better. It's going to consist of 8 videos or 8 matches. So yeah, please watch this series. Also, please watch the upcoming videos. And also, leave a like, subscribe. Please get me to 6,000 subscribers. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.